Hi, welcome to Tech Ranch, a place where we learn and earn technical skills in the most efficient way. Let's make coding fun. All about Java file handling. So in this session, we are going to learn and see how to implement the file creation, file operations, file writing, file reading, demonstration, important facts, and a homework for practice project. So this session is going to divide it into three sections: file creation, file write, and file read. We are going to see it in detail. Now before we get into it, we need to understand what is actually a file. File is nothing but the simple storage of data, a different type of data. It could be movie, a video, an audio, or it could be images or data like in a content form, in a text form, or it is an executable, any type of file. So to structure and organize these data in a different forms is maintained in file. So if it is an audio file like MP3 or any kind of audio file will be stored in a different format is called MP3. Now if it is a video, then we make it in an MP4 file or MOV, AVI, FLV, any more formats. If it is a text file, it will be stored in .txt or .doc or pptx and many more. Similarly, if you have any images, that is stored in a .bmp file, .jpeg file, .png file, .gif file, and many more. To store and structure these data in a different form is maintained in files. Now, here what we are going to see that how we can implement these file operations in Java. The file class basically is instantiated from Java input-output package, allows us to work with different formats of files. So first thing first, what we have to do, the step first is we have to import your Java input-output, Java IO package. Now here we have the file class. Now creating an object of file class and specify the file name or directory name will help you to create a file. Now once the file is created, we need to understand when we perform any operation in a file like reading or writing, it is in a different form. So when it is a form in a streams, so that is nothing but the sequence of data. So there are two modes, you can see output mode and input mode. In case of output mode, the stream we are writing to a file, and when it comes to the input mode, this mode we are going to read the content from a file. So understand it better. It's very simple. Like we are writing a document and mentioning the complete message. Once the writing is done, that is nothing but the output. We need to read the message what we have written in the file, that comes from the input. So output stream we are writing to a file, and input stream we are reading from that file. We'll see that in detail and understand it better when it comes to an implementation. Now let's take a look at the how to create a file. Before that, let's see the hierarchy, how the IO package is structured. So when we say Java input output package, that particular package divided into two parts, input stream and output stream. That's what we have learned. In case of input, we read the stream we are reading, and output stream we are writing a stream into a file. Now file input stream, byte array input stream, filter input stream, these are the further classification of input stream where we can see many ways you can use to write and read a file, like byte array input stream, data input stream, and all these are different types of classes which is available in this package, can be used in a different form. So it depends what type of application and what is your requirement. Based on that, you can use these class objects to perform file operations. For in case of output, we are going to read the file, so we can use file output stream, byte array output array, filter output array, data output array, buffered output array. Now in this session we are going to see try to cover as much as we can use these classes in an example. Now let's start the implementation of creating a file. The first thing, we need to create a file. So in case of input stream, if you have seen the hierarchy, here we have the input stream. So with the help of the input stream, we are going to create a file. All you need to do is create a file object using file method as follows, and a constructor, and passing the argument of the path, and this object can further help you to create and to perform any operation. So all you need to create an object of the file constructor. There are so many other methods. You can see it in detail when you actually check it in an API. They say they have close method, read method, and many available method, and all kind of required. Based on your requirement, you can use those methods in this class. So with the help of the input stream, all you need to just call, create an object, and passing the directory or path name in a constructor argument. This will help you to create a file. You can see an example here. What we are doing here is just creating a file object, passing an argument in a constructor of a file or a directory, and with the help of this, and here you're just calling a method of this object is called list. So this will list down all the path and files and directory details of that particular path. So this is how you can create a file. Now let's see how we can write a file. So in case of write, as we have seen, the streams has to write in a file with the help of the output. So output mode has to be implemented here. So we are going to use file output stream here, file output stream example, and we are going to create an object of this class and passing an argument in a constructor of the path name, passing a string, a static string. You can make it dynamic in a runtime. We'll show you in a demonstration. And just converting string into byte array, since it is in a byte form, it's a byte stream. Now write method is available in this class. All you need to just make an object and call that object, and help that object we can invoke write method, and finally in the end we can close the method. So closing the method is basically closing the operation, not the closing the file or deleting the file. So all you need to do is just writing method. Now once the write method of this is what the example of file output stream example of code for writing stream in a file. So this is basically creating also a file. So since we have seen the creating file in a separate form, in this example you are creating a file and writing into a file both together. Now once the writing of file is done, you can see in a reading the file. Just like we have the output stream, we need to do the input stream. All you need to difference will be is your condition. You need to keep reading the content from the file until it is null. So in the end of the pointer of a file, when it is done, it is mentioned, it is specified as a -1 or a null character. So all you need to read the file, the pointer will read and move the pointer until it is reaching the -1 of a file. So that will be the end of the file content. So we need to put it in a condition, and once this is done, the content will be read and presented in an output. So all we need to understand is that there are two modes of a stream, input stream and output stream. In case of input, we are reading from a file, and for output, we are writing in a file. Now let's take a look at the demonstration. So what we are going to do in an implementation here, we are going to have a program where we have three options. One is file creating, file writing, file reading, and in the fourth we are exiting from the program. So you can see in the demonstration, first we create a file. So we have mentioned the path. This is what the path, and this is what the file, and this is the text file we have created. And once this is done, then it will ask you to write a content, what you need to write it in a file. So that string I have entered here, hello, welcome to TechCrunch, and this is what written in the file. Now, number 3, we are reading. So this is what the reading from the file. Now let's take a look at the implementation. So this is my Eclipse IDE. So I'm just opening a Java project, and inside the Java project, go to the source folder. Inside the source folder, I'm just making a class, and here I'm just giving the name file handling demo. I need a main class, a main method. Now this is my file handling demo. So first thing first, what we have to do, we have to import java.io package. Once this is done, inside the class, we need to create 3 methods: public void create file, public void write file, public void read file. Before, and another thing, I'm just having a variable, static kind of variable, which is basically for directory file path name, so that we can mention something here like this. And here I'm just having my desktop directory. In Java, we have to mention double slashes because it's escape character. So we have to mention the double slashes in the path. That will help to have a different kind of string. It's a path for a directory. So I'm just giving the test2.txt file, and we need to create this file. So for creating, first we need to create an object, file object, and here having a creating a file. So in argument, all you need to give the path name and file path. So you can see here what we have done here. We have just simply created a file. Now we need to make sure the file is not created. So in that case, what we need to check is your create new file. If it is not created a new file, it will pass you a message saying the file is already exist. File is created. If it is true, file is created successfully. Or else file is already exist. So here the error is coming that we need to put it in try catch or a throw exception. So I'm just giving throws exception. You can have it in try catch block, which is a better code of quality. Now this is all about the creating file. All we need to just invoke this method here in the main method. So that we'll do it later. First we have to make sure that we are creating and writing file together. Now for writing, what we need to do, we need to have a file content. So I'm just having a random dynamic runtime content to write it in a file. So for that, I'm just having a string initialize declaration and having a scanner, and okay, next we need to ask user to enter file content to write. And once this is done, the file content string variable is assigned with in dot. Now here I'm going to have the next line. Next will read the word or the string until it is not specified any specifier. So next line will read the entire string, you see. So this is why I'm using next line. This will not terminate after a space bar if you entered when you actually enter a content or a string. So that will be more clear when we see the demonstration. So for the implementation, just make sure, in case if you not using any specific specifier to terminate the string of writing in a file, you just mention next line. Now here I'm creating an object for file writer, and in a constructor we need to pass a file path. So this will take from the file path, you see. Now here the throws try catch exception or IO exception throws. So once this is done, next step we need to write. So all we are going to call the object of the file writer dot write, and here we have to have string, right? So file content. So this will, whatever you are going to write in a file content is going to write it in a file with the help of the file writer object. Now once the writing is done, you make sure you close the file. So once this is done, your file writing is done. Next, we need to see how to read. Now for reading, you need to have your read string buffer where we are going to read. So for reading, we are going to use buffered reader. This is another kind of implementation you can do for reading or writing. Now here, buffer reader will basically store your content temporary and have it in a displayed in your console. So what we are going to do here, new creating an object, and here file buffer reader creating an object, and we are going to have I think I missed something here, buffered reader constructor. We need to have a buffered reader constructor, and in the constructor, inside the constructor we need to create a new file, and in that file we are going to pass file reader constructor, and inside that we are going to pass a file path. So basically we are having a reader buffer, and inside the reader buffer we are creating a new file reader object, and inside that we are just giving the file path from where we need to read the file. So once it will it will pick the file from the directory, we need to read it and put it in a buffer. So for that, all you need to do is you have to have, okay, this is error because of this. Now once this is done, we need to make sure we are reading the file from your okay. So this is reading is done. Now next, all you need to call these methods in our main method. So for that, first we need to create your object of this file. F equals to new constructor. Now once this is done, all you need to have your switch implementation, and for that just for the labeling we can just have a demonstration. TechWrench file demonstration. and providing some main menu, and we have to make it in a do while loop so that it will keep reading, keep repeating the menu, and all you need to just have a menu here. And while loop will basically here until the choice was not 1 to exit the code. So when it is 4, we can loop. Inside the do while loop, we need to have a switch method, and inside the switch method, first we have to have the option. So enter first file creation like this, 2 file writing, 3 file reading, 4 exit, 4 exit. See, and next we need to have the choice from the user. So for that we need to ask and put some scanner or some anything. You can use any option, any, or you can use the buffer reader, scanner input, or buffer reader, anything you can ask from the user to enter the choice. So let's have buffer reader for an example. Buffer reader and object to equals new buffer reader, and having an argument for a new input stream reader, and choice, we need to give the choice. For that we need to ask from the system input. So you see, and one more bracket. So once this is done, next buffer reader will have to have some variable. So for that we need to use the input b, some choice, or b or choice, whatever, that has to go in integer, and we need to parse int. Since it is in a buffered form, it is in a stream form, we need to convert it into integer form and read line. So this will convert your stream, byte stream, into integer. And once this is done, all you need to just make your switch cases and pass the b and cases. You can create one case 1 and f dot create file method, and you can pass some message that file is created, and exit or break, exit from this choice. So give it a break. Next, case 2, f dot, second choice is your writing, right? So write system o file is writing in a file is done, so that we need to give a break. Case 3, f dot read file and system reading file is done. You see, give it a break. Case 4, exit, so goodbye message, something like. Just for labeling the code is always important. Sometimes that helps you to have it in a more control and debug the code, you see. So system out of it is like goodbye or file implementation is done. File handling demonstration is done. Goodbye. So this is break, and make sure you give default implementation, that invalid choice. Sometimes user put something else which is not in your case, then you have to make invalid choice. Okay, so we need to include the try catch block or exceptions you need to throw. So once this is done, your file handling implementation for creating and writing and reading is done. Now let's take a look at the execution. So what we have to do, you can see this is my path, and this is going to be the file test2.txt is going to create in the desktop. So let's take a look at the execution. So this is my Java application and is going to execute it in Java console. So I've entered first. The file is created successfully. So if you see, my test2.txt file is created here. Now let's close it for now and try to write something. Hello, welcome to TechCrunch. Since I made the since I've added the next line, so it's gonna be read the entire string. So welcome to TechCrunch. Let's make coding fun. Now writing in a file is done. So if you see the file test2.txt, hello, welcome to TechCrunch, let's make coding fun. Now let's see the reading. Hello, welcome to TechCrunch. This is reading from the file, and for exit. So this is the live implementation and demonstration of creating file, writing in a file, and reading from a file in Java. So we have seen the demonstration. Now let's see important facts. When it comes to the Java implementation for file handling, Java automatically takes care for path separators on Unix or Windows as per conventions. If you use a / on a Windows version of Java, the path will still resolve correctly. Java byte streams are used to perform input and output of 8-bit bytes, whereas Java character streams are used to perform input and output for 16-bit Unicode. File reader reads 2 bytes at a time and file writer writes 2 bytes at a time. The stream in the Java I/O package supports many data such as primitive, object, localized, and characters, etc. For homework, what you can do, just perform this demonstration and practice how we can work with a file and try to understand how we can make a copy of a file, and use append method to learn how append method works in Java. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and post your comments, suggestions, and questions if you have in the comment section. You can reach us on techcrunch2019@gmail.com for any further assistance and source code required. Let's make coding fun. Thank you.